What's up? It's Juice Beats, back again with another race video, and this one is the Georgia Games down in Marietta, Georgia. I drove down, I think I left about 7 a.m. and it was about a 3-hour drive to get there. It got me there about a couple hours before the race, so I was able to get a pretty decent warm-up, but the one thing that I was missing in this race before was getting on the track. There was not a chance for me in between the races that were going on for me to get on the track. This is me going around the track for the very first time. This is me getting used to that at this point. Let me go over some stats real quick. I averaged 25.1 miles per hour, 300 watt average, 329 normalized with a 1236 max in this race. Guys, this is a P123 race. It is a pro race for Georgia. I guess it's more of a local race. You know, there were some teams from a couple different areas, and there was a team there that I remember that was at the Carter County Crit as well. You know, some strong teams. I'm not too familiar with them. The only one I was really familiar with is the MAC team, that yellow and black uniform, and yeah, that was about it. You know, everybody else, I did recognize the one just in front of me right here. But yeah, I'm not familiar with them. I was just, you know, I just saw them in the Carter County Crit. But here we go. This is the first lap, and you can see, if you've been paying attention so far to my power numbers, the start line is on a hill. So going up, just starting out, I'm powering up a hill.
I don't like cycling uphill.
There's only 2 turns, so as soon as you make that first turn, you're basically going downhill for, you know, half the lap. You make that second turn and you are basically going uphill. One thing that I didn't know, you know, looking at this course beforehand, just on paper, was that it was gonna have this not really steep uphill, but enough that you'll feel it, and enough that you're going to put out some watts to be able to get up it and to be able to keep up speed here. So basically my goal was to get used to the course here on the first couple laps, and then try to sit in as best I can, but you can already see this is the first lap, and I'm trying hard to find a good wheel to stick behind. And you know, I started out kind of up front, but now I am falling to the back very quickly, and you can see how many watts I'm putting out just to be able to stay on the back wheel here, and it's not looking good already. Putting out way too many watts early on in this race, and I'm already losing the wheel in the back. Come to find out, so the reason why I was losing a little bit of watts and why things were happening this way is I found out that my left crank arm, my power meter arm, crank arm, the thread that connects the pedal and everything had been stripped a bit, and my pedal had been clicking for the last few weeks, and I didn't realize what that was. I thought it was something to do with my cleats. I thought it had something to do with maybe something wasn't lubed correctly, but yeah, I really wasn't sure what it was, because I thought the pedals and everything were good. But yeah, I've been checking it, and come to find out, yeah, that it was stripped inside there. So I'm working on trying to get that replaced. But I think it affected, you know, my last couple races, just knowing that now that you know, I was losing some watts, that, you know, that clicking. Basically, I think what it was doing was just kind of moving up and down inside the thread there, and so when I was mashing on the pedals, I was hearing that clicking sound, thinking it was my cleat or something like that, but it was actually the pedal moving around in the thread, and it finally fell out just this past week on a training ride, and so now I'm working on trying to get that replaced and fixed up. So I don't have power at the moment, but hopefully I get that fixed. But anyway, back to the race here. So we're on lap 2, and you can see I'm letting big gaps open up already. My heart rate is up in the 170s already. And I want to say that it was a hot day, but it wasn't an overly hot day here at the Georgia games. I want to say, I mean, it was probably mid 80s or something like that. So it wasn't like overly hot to where that was affecting me too much. But I really think this course didn't do me any justice and didn't do me any solids. Just wasn't suited for my abilities. If it was completely flat on that front side going into the start finish line, and then having this downhill, then I think it would have been perfect for me, and I would have been fine. But going downhill, getting this reprieve was nice, and I was able to catch back up here on the back stretch to the peloton, but just had a hard time in the second turn of this race, punching out of there, basically going directly uphill out of that turn. And you can see, I mean, I'm pushing out a lot of watts just to stay on the wheel here. I know it looks like I'm not in the draft, but I mean, we're moving at 33 miles an hour, and there's a little bit of a gap, but I think it's a little bit more exaggerated on the GoPro than it actually was. So I am in the draft of the peloton, but getting ready to go into this second turn on the third lap here. And yeah, you'll see as I get this turn how much I have to punch it to keep up here. So yeah, 1200 watts punch just to keep up. And this lap was fine. I kept up. But other laps where the wheel kind of gets away, it becomes a problem. So I'm trying to keep pace with everybody here, and like I said before, my goal was to sit in and really try to follow the wheels as best I can. Early on, I got behind some not so strong wheels, I guess, and they kind of opened up gaps that I had to close myself. So already had to kind of burn a match early on. So looking at my heart rate now, it's kind of settled back down in the 160s, but I was getting a little crazy there already in the 170s early on on those first 2 laps there. Another thing about the course is, I believe it was a 1.1 or 1.2 mile course, so pretty decent sized course for a crit race. And I mean, it's a very nice smooth area. Everything except for that uphill was pretty nice about the course. But yeah, I mean, like I said, it just didn't suit my abilities very well, being on this course. But here we go. I'm still in it. I'm still trying to figure out something here. I'm trying to basically, I'm trying to figure out a way to move up a little bit better here and get in better position instead of sitting all the way back on the back here. Because that's where you're gonna get that yo-yo effect, and it's probably not a good idea in the P123 field here. But like I said, I mean, I was already kind of burning some matches on those turns and going up that uphill. So here we go. I really did like this downhill, and if you could follow behind the wheels here, we were getting over 30 miles an hour. I think that at one point we were getting close to 40, but really nice little downhill ride here. But here we go, going into this turn, taking it with some speed still, 26 miles an hour. I think just slow down slightly to be able to turn there without hitting wheels. But you can see I'm punching out of there, and I'm having to punch it pretty hard, over 500 watts. I think I reached over 1,000 coming out of it. But yeah, I mean, and then we've got this little dip coming up here. Nice little kind of, it's not really a false flat because it does dip downhill, but I try to use this as a point where, you know, people were kind of slowing down a little bit to move up on some wheels here. So I'm trying to, this is what I wanted to do. I wanted to sit up, get in better position, and follow the draft a little bit more here. This feels much better, you know, sitting in the 300 range rather than sitting on the back in the 500 range. But here we go, punching it. That's another thing that happened that I noticed in this race. Every time we got close to the start-finish line, people would start to punch it, and it felt like an attack basically off the front. And here we go, creeping back up in the 170s on the heart rate. I'm trying to push it, but still, I mean, all the watts, and they're still pulling away. So definitely something going on with the pedal there, and just not doing well sitting on the wheels here. But I do, I guess, a decent job of kind of coasting in and kind of fitting here, but then I don't realize what's going on behind me right here. This guy is gearing up and taking all that momentum he had from the hill and going out to the guys that have formed a little bit of a breakaway out there. If I had saw that a little bit sooner, you know, if I had been paying attention, obviously, I think I would have gone with that move. I think I would have, you know, he would have taken me up to the front there. I may have not stuck for very long, but at least I would have been, you know, out front. And if anything, I could have fallen back to the peloton here. But see, you know, I'm punching it out of here. Everybody's punching it up front, and I am barely getting anywhere, it seems. And here we go, getting ready to cross the finish line, and there we go, more attacks, just as I said before. Every time we got to this start-finish line, it seemed like people were gunning it at that point, and you know, trying to make it up this hill into the first turn. And so, yeah, it took a lot out of me throughout this race. You know, these hills are not what I'm suited to do, and yeah, it just overall pretty tough race. It was fast, but you know, the speed thing isn't really what hurts me that much. Like I can keep up with speed. It's just, you know, being one of the biggest guys in the peloton usually is what's tough. You know, having to carry a lot of weight up a hill compared to a lot of these smaller guys. It's a little bit more difficult for me. So yeah, but I'm hanging in there. This is you know, lap 6. I'm trying to hang in there best I can. Still dangling kind of towards the back here. We will see here. We're closing in. We're just under 9,000 meters to go, or for me to go, and we'll see how this kind of plays out here on this next turn. So I had to slow down quite a bit just to be able to go through that turn and hopefully not run into the back of some wheels here. And then I'm punching it out of there. And even with the draft, I'm putting in a lot of watts going up this hill here. So yeah, taking a lot out of me at this point. And I think we just lapped somebody there. You can see how they're pulling away at this point, and I just put in a pretty big dig, and I'm going close to 30 miles an hour, and they're still pulling away.
Let's ride up the hill again. Are you coming, Peppa? No, I think I'll stay here. See you later.
Definitely, you know, it's kind of demoralizing during the race when you're putting in such a big effort and things are still, you know, pulling away from you. And right now, I think this is where I was thinking that I could maybe catch back on if I put in another dig. But yeah, you can see they are pulling away, and I know they're getting ready to attack off that start-finish line, just as they've done every lap basically. And I'm putting out all these watts here, and I just didn't really realize why I was losing so many places here. And you know, with all the punches and stuff that I was doing, you know, obviously that's tough, but I was also losing watts, you know, with the pedal as well. So you know, all those factors together in this race, and it being just a really punchy, surgy race, did not suit me very well for this one. But anyway, I mean, this was a short race for me, so I lasted, I think, you know, a few more laps here trying to catch back up, but I'm not gonna bore you with me going around the track by myself basically at this point. So that was the end of my race at this point. I think there was another 30 minutes or so after this that they finished up, but yeah, just not the greatest course for me. And you know, I hate making all these excuses or whatever like that, but you know, I just didn't have a great race, and of course finding out about my pedal and all that stuff, it didn't really help as well. But yeah, hopefully I can bounce back in my next race, whenever that is. I have my eye on a race in August, and I think it's going to be the Winston-Salem Gears and Guitars race. I need to check my calendar, make sure I can make it for that one. But yeah, that one I did last year, did fairly well. I almost cracked the top 10 in that race, and that was a really big race. But this year, moving up to Cat 3, I think there's like 3 races I can do. There's a 3-4, a 2-3, and a P123. So just have to decide which one I want to do. Probably not going to do 2 races because that's a lot, and I think they're like back to back or something there. So yeah, that would be way too much for me to do. But gonna check that out and hopefully get signed up for that pretty soon. But right now I am just in the midst of you know, training, building my base, building my VO2 max, and you know, doing my workouts and stuff like that at the moment. So hopefully come back stronger in my next races. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and end the video now. But if you like the video, please like and subscribe. Hit that bell icon so you know when I post videos. And guys, I will see you on the next one. Peace.